last week, looking to involve some of the people who have taken my quizzes and signed up for my mailing kit over the last year, I asked, where are you stuck? And I expected people to come back and say that they're feeling overwhelmed and there's a lot going on. But the highest votes actually came in for people who felt like they were in the bunker and that they were struggling to hit publish because they're feeling a little bit like it's too much to put something out there and have AI scrape it and steal it and rework it. And the same thing was on the comments of my video about Bjork. A lot of people came back going, why are we putting anything out there? Why publish stuff to social media? And I get that. I understand it. There's a lot out there. But I'd also say, you're right. That is true. And it is a possibility. We have to look at this honestly. The act of violation is nothing new. There's so much historic context for this. Because that theft is like a tax on our creativity. Like all the way back in 1592, William Shakespeare was called out as an upstart crow by the institution. He was recognized as like cherry picking and stealing other people's ideas, like stories from other writers, stories from history, stories from kind of folk tales, and weaving them together into new work. Almost like a human LLM, the things that interested him, putting them together and making new work. But he's still lauded as one of the greatest writers in the English language for writing, for poetry, and for as a playwright. And he's known globally, even outside of the English language. That doesn't mean it's right, but it just means that he just kept creating and he kept going. And then also, like Frank Herbert, who wrote Dune, when he watched Star Wars, he recognized an awful lot of the creation of the universe that he put into the Dune novel. And he saw it in the Star Wars books. And please don't take this out of context. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but George Lucas is known as a film director, and Frank Herbert is very much considered one of the fathers of modern sci-fi. And he didn't just go into his bunker and stop writing. He realized that the whole Star Wars thing was too big for him to go and sue George, but he went away and kept writing. And he has a whole legacy of work around Dune. And now we thankfully have the new Dune movies that have come out, and they're absolutely exceptional. And even today, on YouTube, just in the past couple of weeks, I watched Maria from the Norwegian channel Nerdforge, and she was talking about the fact that one of her pieces, and I watched the video, I think last year, and she made this beautiful nook for her library, this wonderful like installation. It looks like something out of Hogwarts, this amazing kind of very cool looking library, and it's got loads of different intricate pieces in it with visual effects. But now you can go and buy it on Amazon. It's been knocked off by a Chinese factory, and you can pick it up for about 40 euros. But she, in her video, and I'll link it up here, she went on to go, look, what can I do about it? And she tried calling them, she tried chasing them down, but ultimately it's not going to stop her from making and putting out work. And I'm not just saying this to minimize your feelings. I get it. I see visits on my own website from locations in China, and I don't think they're watching my YouTube. And also my wife, who's a visual artist, sees multiple visits every day from China as well. And we're pretty sure we know what they're up to. They're scraping our content, they're scraping her visuals idea, they're looking for patterns, they're looking for things that they can process and reproduce and put out there. But I know I have a choice. I have a choice to be a policeman, to guard the perimeter, try and keep us all safe, or I can continue to be a creator. I continue to make videos for you, continue to encourage and support my wife and do work to help her. I can continue to try and hear and make my own music in a style that's my own. And you know what? I'm not adverse to hearing other people's music, internalizing it, and some of those influences come out. Not that I'm trying to reproduce it or do anything, just I love lots of different things and they often show up in what we produce. But I was in the kitchen last week and it's January. We've been on a little bit of a bread making extravaganza. Going getting some lovely different breads, getting some yeast, making our own bread, and with my son we were making focaccia, and we have done a couple of different rounds of focaccia and it's turning out really good. But I realised that this is like a metaphor for this whole AI theft debate. Someone could come in tomorrow and steal the cinnamon buns that my daughter wants to make with me. And okay, that'd be a bit of a pain. We put some energy and effort into it and there is money went into the production, but I know how to make cinnamon buns. And even if they stole the written down recipe, I've been making bread and pizza for 20 plus years. I can do it in the dark. I can do it without weighing scales. I can do it by feel. It's a process. It's something that I've internalized. They can't take that away from me. I can scrape together the money to go and repurchase the bread, the flour, the salt, the yeast. I mean, if I have enough time, you can even make my own yeast and go down the sourdough route. And they can't take that away from me. And I think that's the same with creativity, and it's the same with art, is that it's about the process. It's about the human piece that we bring to it. It's about the iteration. It's about the fact that every time we make the focaccia, it gets better. Or we try different ingredients that go on top, or we use different quality of olive oil and it just tastes amazing. And if somebody had the written down recipe, they could go through the steps, but they wouldn't get the same results. And it's the same thing with your art, with my art, with my wife's art, with my music. That can't be taken away. And we can't live in fear of this thing being scraped. Because just like the baking thing, like we can make bread every day. We can vary it up if it's sweet, if it's savory. We can provide for ourselves. We can have the smell of warm, dough rising in the house and then it baking permeate the place and just have this beautiful scent here. And in the same way, when you create, there's this beauty that radiates from you. And the more you do it, the more you want to do it. The more you put out there, the more people are interested in it. And there's just a sense of it being this infinite wheel and it never ending. It's almost like the sourdough that people use, that starter. You don't use it all up. And it continues to feed itself, and it's the starter for the next bread. And the next bread, and a little bit of flour and a little bit of water goes into it, and it comes round, and it's just, there's something else. There's something beautiful about the process. And I think that in 2026, rather than letting fear overtake us, we need to dive into the process. It's not about pushing hard. It's not about, blocking out time. It's not about productivity. It's about starting to feel the flow and feel the energy and feel the river of inspiration coming to you and through you and allowing it to create something more and more. So don't let the fear of being copied stop you. I mean, one thing I've been processing a bit about is that like anybody can go to ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude and say, hey, I need a creative coach and I'm stuck here. And you can all go and do that. But when you get on a call with me, there's that thing that I've been doing for years that I'm able to see in people's faces, hear in their voices, even over a Zoom call, and call them out on their crap. see where they hesitated when they were talking about their work. Understand who they are. And you don't get that when you're typing that into a chatbot. You really don't. There's so much more. And any of the people who work with me will happily tell you that there's something innate in what I get to do. So whether we ever get to work together or not, please keep watching these videos. Feel free to subscribe and stick along for the journey. And if you'd like some help locating yourself and where you're stuck, and there's a link to a quiz below that will help locate your creative place of being stuck, and I'll respond and get back to you with some helpful tips and some ideas of how you can move forward. Okay, YouTube's going to offer you another video to watch here, and I hope you're enjoying some either rest and rejuvenation at the start of 2026, but also that you're ready to step into something new. Step out of fear and create in joy and abundance, and just have an amazing 2026. But anyway, until next time, stay creative.